And we are live, the first mainstream movie review of 2026. Happy New Year, Gray. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. I get to talk about a couple of awesome flicks and make a case for a film that I don't think you're giving a chance to. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, man. What about yourself? How's
Amazing.
how's 2026 treating you, sir?
It's amazing. I live the dream. Um Lots of cool movies, and we got Primate out there. Um I I have very
Agree. Lots of cool
special
movies.
opinion on that. So this is the horror review of the week, and because I think I will be much more negative than you. I think I should start on that one because
Yeah, please do. I need
yeah,
to know the points to knock down and
yeah,
explain
let's
why
get
you're
into
wrong
it.
on.
So I will start by saying I could not stand most of the character, but let's start with the plot because now we also add the plot, and it's quite basic, but sometimes basic plot are quite fun. But this time around, the plot is, again, I will spoil the entire thing. We will spoil the entire thing, so that's your warning already. The plot is quite simple. Some domestic primate gets rabies and goes on a rampage. That's the movie. That's There's no other word. That's the movie. Now, among my many issues, let's get into it. I feel like the characters were forgettable. They are all stupid characters, and it's like, yeah, I was thinking while watching, I was like, hopefully it's like Scream, because like it sounds and it looks like a parody, but turns out no, not really. So it's really poor characterization, I think. Because I had that thought process in my mind somewhere. And when I was watching the reviews on Rotten Tomato, I was like, oh, they were actually serious. And I get it. These jerk at the end, the two guys that are party guys. I get it. These two, they were stupid on purpose, and it kind of worked well. But even there, these characters were kind of generic in my books. So again, I think characters in that movie are the worst part of it. Now, the next issue I had, and I counted twice, so that means I found that movie very long because it is spacing. They took the concept of what could be a great short movie and they tried to make it last an hour and a half. The guys coming at the house were only around to be victims. They were non-characters. Um, could not stand that. The next issue, well, it's 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's four instances of that happening. So let's get into the four things that went wrong in my books. Characters needed to be turned stupid for the plot to happen, breaking the tone of the movie. I think, based on the music and some of the documentary pieces, the example of stupid moments. Number one, guy goes alone instead of getting help to push the primate off the cliff. Of course, the movie needs an extra hour, so things go wrong, and the guy is taken out alone once again. Number two, right after the guy fell off a cliff, girl decides to leave the pool again alone and tries to choke the chimp with the rope. By surprise, the chimp um, and land a good blow. Oh no, that's I just skip a line. I don't know what's going on with me. My brain is fried right now. But um, again, alone to choke the chimp with the rope, but fails again because alone and stupid. My third issue, at some point, one of the girls attacked by surprise the chimp and land a good blow. Yet she stops there instead of continuing to make sure he doesn't get back up. That led to the death of the girl in the stairs. Number four, the characters close the door behind them when they enter the house, knowing there are risks the primates would be inside the house. They basically trap themselves so there's more tension when they try to leave. I could not stand that. I was rolling my eyes and I found that painful. Um,
I didn't quite understand that one. Could you say number 4 again? Somehow they
so
trap
basically,
themselves in the house?
it's for once they seemingly do something smart and they go inside the house together, but they close the door behind them, and like it's kind of obvious the monkey is not outside because they didn't see it outside, and they close it behind them. So I feel like the smart thing to do is you let the door open so it's easier for you to try to escape and leave. But yes, they need to trap themselves in the house by closing the door, knowing fully like probably the monkey is inside. Um,
Wait,
the
so if there's a creature that you know is outside, but you don't know if it's
well,
inside,
it's
you for sure, hold on, you for sure will leave the door open. That's the smart
yeah,
thing to do.
because they
So, like,
didn't see it.
if zombies are outside, but you're not sure if they're inside, leave the door open.
Maybe it's
There's not that
the
whole thing about like close the door behind you, secure the area.
security
Sorry,
area
man.
to
I'll
trap
let you
yourself
finish.
inside.
You head up to number 4. I'm gonna refute every one of these, but sorry. Is there a number 5?
um, wait, I was into it. So yeah, 8 and 9 contrived moment added tension only to make the movie longer. The first example, everything goes smooth when the women are searching the house all the way up to the moment they open the TV by accident, and it's all noisy to bring the primate in the same area as the ladies. The second example, girl took the wrong key so she can be taken out instead of escaping with the car. And so that was at the end. So I just thought there was a lot of stupid in that movie, and I was rolling my eyes almost at every corner. Now I was overly negative. I will admit there are some aspects that are kind of decent and enjoyable. The action was cool, and I think the gore was nice. So that's like the positive there. I think the acting overall made it work. It made sense. The idea of a family turning a primate into a family member was kind of cool. The music and some of the tension was okay despite being caused by stupid moments. Well used concept of someone being deaf having challenge, especially when they fight a monster. I I thought all they depicted the deaf guy that was neat. I think that was the highlight of the movie for me. And team of mental illness, since the primate wasn't himself, they said it at the movie. It's not Ben anymore. I can't remember that. I think that's the line. That's the only line that really marked me. But yeah, I didn't feel the vibe of that movie. I cannot stand it. A lot of stupid in it. Is it the worst movie I've seen? No, but I've seen far better. So that's what I thought of Primate, the monkey movie. So what did you think of Primate? Save the movie because I
Before
know
I
you
go
liked it
on
more
with
than
that,
me.
I loved it. It was a great movie. I currently have it. So again, I've only seen 7 for 2026, but I have it as my second highest film of the year. But just so that I can poison the well, make sure to character assassinate you. There was a previous January horror release, and you happened to give it 4.5 stars. That was
Yeah,
Night Swim, the
I liked it.
haunted swimming pool movie from Bloomhouse. That was a horrible, horrible horror movie. Every character was stupid. It's a swimming pool. You know how you defeat the swimming pool? Not getting in the swimming pool. Um, just no, man. Okay, so I'm taking on each one of your points here, and then I'll give my review of it. I guess first, let me start off with the description. You said it's a monkey that gets rabies and he goes berserk, or a chimp, excuse me. It is so much more than that, sir. You said that there were not more words needed. Oh, there are so many. So you don't understand. There is this family and this primatologist who happens to bring home a chimp to her family, and it becomes a member. It is the third child. Unfortunately, that family is be struck with illness and the mother dies of cancer. We just learn glimpses of this through a little bit of dialogue, a little bit of I don't believe they actually show any. I think it's mainly dialogue, and then there's a couple of exposition points that oh no, their mother died of cancer. And then there, during the title scroll, it kind of shows this primatologist how she's, won awards. It seems like she's working with a university, and she also has this connection with this chimp, Ben, her son. And it shows this amazing family living together on this Hawaiian island. But the family's grown apart recently, and you get this, that there's some tension. Lucy went away to college, and perhaps everybody's kind of missing her, including Ben, her adopted primate brother. And then everything kind of goes from there. So you've got a family that has some trauma, that's recently gone through some tragedy, who is now in the midst of another tragedy from an infection, if you will. So you compared this to Scream. That's a slasher flick, man. It's not meant to just be that. This is a creature feature. You could also put it akin to like a zombie movie, like we're about to talk about 28 years later. It's kind of like the Rage virus. They did kind of base that one on rabies, but it starts at the beginning where it's talking about aquaphobia, which was originally what they were calling rabies. That's awesome. That makes sense. It literally attacks your brain, and you're not yourself. So not only are these people being attacked by what formerly is a member of their family or a friend's family, but on top of that, you're getting this possible threat of infection as well, that you can't just stay in this pool where the monkey can't swim because it has aquaphobia. You have to actually get some help. You need to get out of there at some point. So I don't know, man. There's more to it than just that. But you're saying poor characterization. I disagree. Lucy is a fleshed out character. I understand her motivations. She wants to go out. She wants to be on her own. However, the family definitely needs her, and there is this strain. And it's strange because, her mother had just died in this house, and her family's relying on her to be a part of this, to help take care of Ben. But yeah, she's going through issues with her boyfriend, or former boyfriend, who is involved in this trip. He was already going on the trip before they broke up. And then she brings her friend, and her friend somehow brought a friend. So there is somebody that we don't know who is established as a jerk. Then you meet them on the plane, and you meet these other two jerks who are just interested in hitting on these hot chicks. They're not seeming to be anything more than just some party, frat guys. That makes sense. When you're saying they're stupid characters, it's like, are you talking about those guys who are literally supposed to be
pretty
stupid
much
drunk
everyone?
frat guys?
It's just only all
looking to
the
get laid?
actors throughout the movie, not just the guys at the end.
Lucy.
But really the
So
other actors.
I'm gonna talk about each one of your 4 points where you say that they suddenly turn stupid, and I disagree with all of those. So I know Lucy. I don't remember the sister's name. I want to say it was Kate. I know there was a Kate and an Aaron, but I can't remember which one was which. But
I think Kate was the annoying one that was made in purpose, really like a jerk, so she can sacrifice herself and be that great hero that redeem herself.
And I think Aaron must have been the sister. I definitely, or maybe Hannah. So you've got Lucy, Hannah, Kate, and Aaron. I do forget, since it's just first names that we're getting on this, I know the two sisters the best. So those are the ones that it gives actual depth to the character. And then the female friend as well, where there is a second friend who is a friend of the friend that's with them. It really doesn't go into depth on her, except for she's a jerk. She's one of those people who's like, you're sitting in my seat. I'm going to actually sit in between you guys, literally making herself a wedge between the two friends that were supposed to be on this trip. Kind of symbolism there, but it's okay if you missed that. But you were saying the pacing is not working for you, and you said the guys coming to the
short
house.
Movie, man.
It is. It's 90 minutes. No, you're just wrong on this, man. It is a short movie. It's 90 minutes. It's adrenaline. It's go, go, go. It's awesome. I don't see any issue with any sort of pacing with this. So you mentioned specifically when the guys come to the house. It's like I don't understand what's supposed to be more pacing of that. Like, they are giving you the kind of classic horror movie thing of, okay, you're entering the house, but you don't know that anything's gone wrong. I could see if you're saying it's somewhat redundant because we get a similar thing once the father comes home. But I think that one's completely different because, again, as you mentioned, he's deaf. So you get to see this a different
And
aspect
the
of
dad
coming
was the
home,
best
not
gimmick,
knowing
I
that
think.
anything's wrong.
The
Yeah, that
dad
was
was the
awesome.
best gimmick. I liked the dad,
But
actually.
but if you have these frat boys who are only interested in getting laid, who are you established when they got called earlier that they're already drunk. I don't know. To me, it kind of makes sense. And then they're being douchey, like, oh, they're probably up in the bedroom waiting for me. It makes sense why they would just go walking through somebody's house. Where if you hadn't made them so douchey and so drunk, like that would just seem off. Where, it's like, oh, they're not answering. Let me just walk inside and go in their bedroom. That sounds weird, but to me, it doesn't come off as bad characterization. It's like, no, these guys are supposed to be stupid frat guys and they're drunk. To me, that works. It's not every character is stupid. It's, yeah, those two characters are stupid, specifically the white one. I don't remember that character's name, but unimportant drunk frat guy one. But so from there, so the pacing, I didn't notice any sort of issue, man. It's go, go, go. Like it's maybe all of like 3 minutes, and then the inciting incident happens, and then from there it's just go. You're just kind of waiting for it to happen, and there's action every few minutes. To me, I see no pacing issues, and especially I don't want those drunk frat guys there any sooner. It makes sense to me what they're trying to do. They seem safe in the pool, but they need to get out of it. So, sorry. Oh no, those are the next things coming up. So you said the characters suddenly turn stupid, and the first one is you said the guy goes alone to try and push the monkey. First off, he's a chimp. How dare you? But Ben, you know, uh, he is definitely a real threat. I would not say, hey, all you girls that I'm trying to protect, why don't you come with me? Because we both need to die in this moment. He knows he's doing something risky and he's putting his neck out there for the group, but he's trying to make a move. You might call that
Strength
stupid.
in numbers, man.
I see that brave and
If they
heroic.
all
So
teamed
every
up,
other time, so I would
if
just point out every other time in this movie that you have two people in the same room, they don't have an advantage against it. They all get taken out except for once the dad comes in, then magically numbers actually mean something. But up until the end, that isn't a point. So, like saying that he should have been there with the girl, well, she's there with her sister. They both get attacked. There's like three of them standing around. The sister gets attacked. There's multiple people in the house. They all get attacked. Strength in numbers doesn't seem to be a thing. It just seems to be that it somewhat remembers the father, and that is what gives him kind of the edge in that thing. But the second one is you say, girl tries to leave pool alone. It again makes sense. I believe that's when she's going for a floaty. So her sister has serious leg damage. They're trying to get her so that she doesn't have to keep
that
kicking
was right
to.
after the guy fell off the pool.
Yeah, I think that's the floaty part though, where she goes out alone because
I
then
think she was trying to choke him with the rope.
there's two different times that happens, so it depends. Either way, again, I don't see an advantage with going out two people. I could
Strength in
see
numbers.
maybe trying to set up a distraction so like one person's on one side of the pool, one person's on the other. If he's coming closer to either of you, you jump in, but I don't see any advantage to having two people out of the pool. I mean, you're kind of playing this Marco Polo thing. If he catches you, it's all over. You would now give him two opportunities to catch. I could see one person maybe saying like, "I'll create a distraction. You get the phone," or something like that. But even then, I don't see that as them being stupid. It's they don't have much leverage here. Like you're floating in the middle of a pool, and it is tense, way tenser than a haunted pool. But you don't have anywhere to literally plant your feet because you have to be deep enough that he can't get to you, that he can't swim. It's not like you've got a whole lot of options of, okay, now I'm on this side. Because if you go anywhere where, you could walk, you could actually stand up, he could get to you. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it seems like a decent threat. And it makes sense why they would kind of leave it one by one. Number 3, you said she's stupid because the girl hits the chimp and then stops. This is her brother, sir. How dare you?
But
Even
at
if
that point, he killed people, man. It's like
but
he
it's
is
her brother.
dangerous.
If my brother killed
He'll
people in front of me,
enter.
I don't know that I could beat my brother with my bare hands to death, or even with an object, even if I had just seen him kill somebody. Man, I grew up with him, like, I've got so many memories. There's this, maybe I could just get him to focus over there, and then we could just get away. Get somebody to come back in and trank him or something. It's not up to me to beat
Zero
him to death.
self-preservation there. Zero,
It's
nada.
not self-preservation. It is literally sentimentality. I'm sorry that you don't feel, but a sibling wouldn't be as easy to beat to death even if you saw them commit a crime in front of you. I don't know, man. That to me, that doesn't mean that she's being stupid. That means she's feeling. Okay, I don't fault her for feeling. And then number 4, you said they go inside and they don't close the door. I kind of was a jerk to you when you were laying out your case for these, but come on, man. Like in any creature
They
feature,
trap
you don't
themselves
leave the door
inside.
open. That's when they come in. They come in silently and you don't notice it. Obviously, he was already there, which kind of proves to me that, either way, they're screwed. It didn't seem like the door was like this huge hindrance that, okay, once they got on the other side of the door, there's no way to open it. They weren't like locked in there. They just opened the door and then closed it. To me, I don't see that that's them being stupid. And then you were saying that there are contrivances, and you specifically said the TV turning on. Like they established that the TV was on super loud before, and the remote was like right under her purse where her phone was when she went to grab it. To me, that makes sense. That's not just a plot contrivance. I can't tell you how many times I was either trying to sneak out of my dad's house. There happened to be a window right near the couch. And I've actually turned on the TV a couple times trying to get out of there. Maybe that makes me stupid that I didn't know that he had the remote just on the couch cushion. But it happens, man. It's a thing. To me, that doesn't seem like a plot contrivance. And then the wrong car. To me, that's actually decent writing. It's the friend of the friend. So it's somebody who isn't familiar with this. They wouldn't necessarily know what kind of cars they drive or anything like that. I believe they got a ride. I can't remember if they got picked up in that car or not. But the frat boys show up in a Jeep that is like a little bit older version of a very similar SUV, like the one parked in the driveway. They're kind of similar colors. It seems like she just grabbed the keys and just jumped into the first car that was there. That doesn't sound like it's stupid or a plot contrivance. She has the right keys. She knew where they set their keys, but she didn't know which car. I have literally been there sitting in a car, and I watched the person who was going into the gas station come out and get into the wrong car. I wouldn't say that person's stupid, but it has happened to quite a few different people where they're not paying attention to what somebody else's make and model are. It's a similar colored SUV. To me, that doesn't sound like it's a stupid thing or a plot contrivance. It's somebody getting confused. I can't tell you how many times like I've grabbed the wrong thing on the shelf where it's like I see like, I don't know, milk, like 1%, 2%, and I mean to grab 2 and I just have 1 in my basket for some reason. I think it's a similar thing. Like you're not really paying attention. This is close enough. To me, that doesn't seem like a plot contrivance. So for me overall, if I were to just rate this film, I don't have it as a 5 stars. It's not that. I do have it as 3.5 stars, and I think this is the best horror movie I've seen released in January in quite some time. Granted, I've been waiting for this one. Charles and I got to do some coverage for Fantastic Fest, and we kept hearing all the buzz. So we got to see a bunch of them. There was 2 of them that we were really interested in. This was one of them. We kept hearing so much buzz for Primate. It was the one that basically opened up the festival and just had everybody talking like, okay, if that's the opening one, this is going to be amazing. But we couldn't get our hands on a screen or a copy of it or anything like that. So we had to wait until it was actually released. But we had a whole bunch of different people who were also covering in Fantastic Fest say, like, you got to check out this movie. When they finally release it, it is crazy. And it seemed to be kind of one of the darlings of Fantastic Fest last year. It did not disappoint. When I saw that it had a January release, I was really quite skeptical. But I got to be honest, this January is pretty damn packed. So I got to be honest, Letterboxd has a score in between ours. They have it as an average of 2.7, which I think I had 3.5, and I think you had 2. So
Yeah,
it seems like it's somewhere in the middle
two
of
and a
us.
half actually. So for me,
Oh, okay, so it's
it,
closer to
it's
yours.
it's a 5 out of 10 for me. So that's 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. So, you mentioned like Scream. It's not meant to be that. It's kind of meant to be more of a creature feature. If you want to think of it like a zombie flick, I'd think of it
Yeah,
like that. Just there's kind of no hope against a creature that's much stronger than you and doesn't have that kind of I don't know, what would
humanity
you call it?
left.
Humanity to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And to me, that's awesome. But I love creature features. Uh, Tremors is one of my favorite movies ever. I just love that thing. Anything that there's some non-human thing coming after you. I dig it. So maybe I am glazing this one a little bit more than I should, but man, I fully expected to hate it. And when I'm looking at it, yeah, a lot of people are
really,
giving it
you were
somewhere
lagging. You
around
were
three
buzzing up
stars.
for like 30 seconds.
Oh no. That sucks. I was scrolling on the Primate thing, looking through other people's reviews. I was just saying, it averages a little bit higher than you. I hope by the end of this, it'll average even higher. I'd like to see this around like a 3, but still 2.7. I could live with. That seems like it's a lot of people giving it threes, and then some people giving it less. It might not be for you. I'm not saying you gotta love creature features, but definitely don't think of it like a slasher flick. They're not like trying to figure out, well, who is the killer? What could be happening here? It's you know what it is. It's going to get all of them. It is just a matter of time. It's a creature, man. So
If they
it's just a
ganged
little
up
bit
on
different
him,
type.
the movie would have been over in 30 minutes.
I just disagree with you, man. It's a tight 90. I want to say it's like 89 minutes. It's a tight little creature feature. I dig it, man. It gives me really good hope for the year of 2026, man. I got to be honest, it is one of the best January horror films I've seen in years. Like I'm thinking like the last 5 years, I can't think of a January horror one I liked. Sadly, I wish I had that experience that you had with Night Swim, but
I also
man,
like
I
Flight Risk, and that was another January movie.
it's a January movie, but it's not a January horror flick. It seems like
Yeah,
they
that's
just kind of
true.
dump the ones. There's another one that I've kind of heard mixed reviews on coming out soon called Whistle. It's about like a death whistle, but that also is making kind of big waves at Fantastic Fest. But they're releasing a bunch of them somehow between January and February. A lot of the big ones from that festival. So that kind of I was hoping for more prime release dates, but still this year's looking to be way more packed than previous years. So I'm
That's
excited for
true.
what's
I
coming up.
agree with that. Like, there are so many movies I'm excited about, and I don't remember thinking that way about 2025. To be honest, for 2025, I was excited about Flight Risk and Superman. These were like the top movies I was waiting for.
You
And
like the
after
flight
six
risk
months,
though?
I got both. So I was like, yeah, I'm satisfied.
Oh man, like I don't hate Flight Risk. It's not the worst movie ever, but just such a drop off from everything else Mel Gibson has ever directed. Like, how did it become that? Just yeah. But fair enough. I could see why you would enjoy that more. If you don't like creatures going bad, yeah, this ain't the movie for you.
So, coming next, we got 28 years later, a movie I really enjoyed. So, my experience with the franchise, I thought the first one was amazing. The second one was a massive drop off for me. And the third one, being the one that came out last year, I quite enjoyed it. And Bone Temple shocked me. Bone Temple was so fun, but I will let you start on that one to mix up things. What did you think of Bone Temple?
I absolutely loved it. I'm glad that Nia DaCosta finally got a chance to kind of redeem herself and finally got kind of control over a film because when you get to see what she can do, man, it is quite the ride. I guess my familiarity with the 28 franchise, I loved 28 Days Later. I had the comic book of it. I saw how they kind of changed it. It's interesting. I really like what Danny Boyle and Alex Garland were able to do with that. And then you mentioned that you really didn't like 28 Weeks Later. Man, I loved it so much. There's so much going on in that film, and the way that they were able to kind of make it more of an entire world rather than just, kind of this one person. Oh, well, I guess a couple people's experience in this world. But I believe 28 Days introduced me to Cillian Murphy. I don't think I'd seen him in anything before that. And that was the first of his flicks that I happened to catch. But man, it definitely made me know that I got to watch this guy. There's an amazing performance in a zombie flick, which is rare. But I thought there were so many other amazing performances. Man, in Weeks, just there's that one scene where the father leaves his wife, or the husband leaves his wife, and just man, the look on each of their eyes, and just like the knowing, man, that has never left me since seeing that in theaters. I absolutely loved that movie and their kind of take on the rage virus. And then to have such a huge gap and then go to 28 years later, man, that it was an interesting choice. It's a really weird intro to it that seems very unrelated, and then all of a sudden you get Spike and his family in this kind of isolated uh, fortress type utopia that they're living in. Just man, it's not what I anticipated for that, but damn, did I love seeing what Danny Boyle and Alex Garland got to do when they came back together for this. And then to hear that at the exact same time, Alex Garland penned this script to kind of go on that ties in, but it's its own thing, although this is kind of its own trilogy as well. Man, that just I couldn't have asked for something better. But I absolutely love the introduction of Dr. Kelson, of Samson, just man, and the Jimmies. Just that intro. I guess 28 years later was rather polarizing. People either hated that intro and the Jimmy's thing, or they kind of were on board with it. And man,
I loved it.
I loved it. Yeah, it seems so different, but when you realize that this is, 28 years and this dude would have been a child at the time. He didn't really have anyone, helping him grow up or anything, and you see what he is. I don't know, what would you call that? Like synthesizing into this identity and what he perceives as, I guess quasi-religious, but at the same time, he's bringing in like the Teletubbies and this weird reverence for them, and then this Jimmy Seville thing where he's making everybody essentially wear wigs to look like it. It looks like he actually grew his hair out for it. His isn't a wig, but everyone has to wear the tracksuits. Man, that is dark. Especially, us knowing what Jimmy Seville ended up doing. But if 28 days later in that universe, I don't think Jimmy Seville ever would have been caught. So you just get it from some kid, some fan, what he could become. And man, that is just so interesting. And I had never thought of anything like that. Just man, seeing that just kinda hit me with, the levels that Alex Garland is kinda working with in this world. But to see Nia DaCosta's take on it, just visually, it is so stunning. I never would have thought that what I need to see is, some dudes chasing the dragon in the middle of a zombie flick, as a way to cure a disease, but man, am I loving it. I am all about it. Dr. Kelson is my friend. I wanna hang out with him. He seems like a good guy. It seems like a fun afternoon. He can hang. And man, there were elements of, his encounter with Spike in 28 Years Later that I wasn't quite sure of, where he's, like, bleaching the bones, telling about Memento Mori. It just I don't know, it didn't quite strike me as true, but seeing what they're able to do in this one, and then, damn, every needle drop in this hit so well from the Duran Duran. Like, I never thought I needed Duran Duran in a zombie flick, but
And
man,
we
is it
gotta say
perfect.
this. It's full spoiler for 28 years later. So that's the big warning here. We will spoil Bone Temple now. So keep going.
Uh, but yeah, Duran Duran, it's awesome. Bringing in Radiohead, everything in its place. Just man, I didn't think I would need to see that while two dudes are tripping. Well, and possibly regaining their humanity. Just man, it works on so many levels for me. And then just to see the visuals that she was able to incorporate. Again, just I'm thinking of the skylines. I'm thinking of just the way that they were able to. So I believe most of 28 years later, the original one was original. The one from last year was shot on an iPhone. Just to see the juxtaposition between what camera choice Nia DaCosta did, man, this is beautiful. Just everything about this flick, I absolutely love it. And then the final needle drop. Well, I guess it's not the final needle drop, but the main one. By the time they bring in Maiden, dude, they had me. This is like the most metal movie of 2026 so far. And yeah, I'm all about it. Don't listen to anybody telling you what it is or what it isn't. Go out there, experience it. It's awesome. Watch it in the theater. It needs to be cranked. I love the scene that they take it all the way up to 11. It is just perfect for me. And the fact that it's working on so many layers. But Multi, what did you think of Bone Temple?
That's my favorite. And it entered, and I know I will make you laugh, but it entered my top 80 just underneath Skyfall and Casino Royale. I know it's very, very different experience and very, very different movies, but that's where it sits. And I really love 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. And I will be honest, I didn't expect to like it as much. I didn't expect to hate it either because, again, I really enjoyed 28 Years Later and I also enjoyed the original one. And despite my issues with the second one, I found the second one entertaining. I just didn't like it. But 28 Years Later was a great movie. And I was like, you know what? If I get something similar, I will be happy. But turns out it was far better than what I expected 28 years uh, later to become with the Bone Temple. I really enjoyed it, and unfortunately, I don't have a lot to say because I've seen it in theater, and I will be honest, I was very slow at marking down my notes, but I have a few great things to say. So I will start with the plot. I think the plot was kind of interesting. So let's get into it. Kids join up with a group of religious people that are out there for blood many years after a virus took over some areas in Europe. A former doctor has been a survivor and tried his best to study the virus and the sick. He starts to study a patient and comes up with a very interesting conclusion on the virus and how the sick are functioning. And I think I wanted to address that in my review because I think that's what made this movie so different from the others. Because now there's like that guy that was introduced in the previous one that was seemingly crazy based on popular belief, but turns out the guy is actually very smart and he's actually a very good person deep inside, and it's just fascinating. I think he is the best character this franchise has created. I felt so much thing about that guy and the adventure he took on. And yeah, so that's the plot. So I have a few likes, and I will say the themes and the character arcs are quite fun as well. So I could also include them in my likes. But let's get into the likes. The music was something else, and the show he was able to put on to impress the gallery and maybe try to survive or maybe try to convince the other to turn on their crazy leader. That was very fun, and I I feel like most scenes with the doctor, they really wanted to tell you his personality through the music and also through his exchange with the sick, the alpha, or um Samsung, I believe that's the name. I think that's Samsung, right? It's Samsung,
Samson.
the sick.
I am some.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. The next thing to really enjoy, the characters were very fun, entertaining, and colorful. They were also very disturbing, but that was the point of it. Like they are disturbed individual that live through trauma, and as kids, they've seen stuff no kids should see. The humor didn't break the very serious tone of the movie, and it's very different from Primate in my books because I feel like the tone was a bit off with Primate, but here with the Bone Temple, I thought most of the humor, especially with the traumatized kid, it's because they are traumatized kid that they are so weird, and it's just it just makes sense. It's amazing, and because I'm so positive, I will already say it. I have no issues whatsoever with this movie, and it's just a very, very strong flick. Now, the next thing to enjoy, I felt lots of emotion throughout the movie, especially, spoiler again, I warn you again, I think the saddest moment was, spoiler, when the doctor dies. I I had tears. I was like, man, that guy was so cool. It's so sad, but it's also great because just before dying, he succeeded. But the tragedy, he didn't really fully realize it. He didn't fully knew he cured the guy, and that was a very standout moment. Now, I think among the themes
He
of
got
that
the
movie,
revelation.
yeah,
Uh, Samson spoke to him right before, so it seems like he was able to get that like last bit of satisfaction, but it's not like it led to much. It's not like they've got manufacturing things to put this cure for everything, and I'm not sure if it wears off. Like antipsychotics are not, like long term or anything like that. It's not you take them once and you're good. It's you got to be on this cocktail. So I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll have to see where they go with the rest of this trilogy.
yeah. So now the themes, I think there's an idea of religion versus science there because we got the doctor that's fact based and that research things, and we got the Tisby's crew that believe in the devil and that are basically celebrating the doctor because they think or they are misled to believe that's the devil and that kind of stuff. So I thought that was very interesting clash there. Another theme is memories can be flawed and interpreted in many ways. Like the kids, they were trying to explain. Not the kids, like the leader when he was talking along with the doctor. The doctor came to a conclusion. Maybe the kid uh, didn't really experience what they were saying, or maybe there's another perspective there. And even himself, even the doctor admits it's all blurry 28 years prior. Um, it's all blurry and it makes sense. The next stop would be the life and what we leave behind are things that matter. And that's very cool. And I think the biggest highlight of that movie is how religion can be weaponized and used for control because the leader of that Tildeby's crew is using that religion and what they all believe to be the truth to basically control the crowd and do make them do things uh, that are not necessarily good things, but it keeps them in check through that. And it's just fascinating how the doctor before dying he just breaks the illusion and everything goes wild. Um, I really enjoyed that ending. Now the character arcs. The doctor found a cure and he befriended the sick. That was very fun. The sick overcame the virus and became human again. Hopefully that will stick. But as you said, sometimes that kind of meds don't always work out if you stop using them. It's kind of tragic, but maybe that's what they will go for. He will revert back, and that will be very sad. The kid was able to break away from toxic relationship and or friendship, and that's Spike basically. The girl was also able to overcome the group toxic influence on her, and when they basically break away and when they basically betray the bad guy, that was something. And I quite enjoyed it, and I think they were very competent at setting that one up because you could see she was slightly different than the others. The others were just blind followers, and she was a character of her own, and I think that was in purpose, and I think that's what made her stand out so much, and that also what made the group so weird and entertaining. So that's what I really wanted to share. I think that movie is great. I had a very good time, and when I go to theater, I want to experience emotions, and I did with that movie. So it checks the boxes. Do you want to add anything else, Gray?
Um, yeah, I guess just one other thing. I think you touched on it a little at the beginning, but the other main theme is humanity and kind of, what would you call that? Like socialization or the wanting our need
Yeah,
for socializing.
yeah,
And you see Dr. Kelson kind of have that humanity streak kind of come through him. I don't know if he would have necessarily made the same decision had he not had the breakthrough with Samson, but once he
yeah. The
realizes that that's
empathy.
Spike.
I think I completely forgot to mention that, but I think empathy is what made him help Samson.
But he was, yes, so he completely has humanity, but he's getting something out of that too, and I think that is where he kinda realized, his compassion, his empathy, his humanity is what brought Samson back, but where he's just kind of letting Jimmy Crystal lead these Jimmies, he was perfectly fine with putting on the show, with kind of saying the words that needed to be said, but it wasn't until he saw who it would affect and what humanity that would take. Just, man, for me, it's awesome. I love me some Dr. Kelson. He is one of my favorite characters, maybe my favorite character in this series. And then we didn't even talk about the big spoiler at the end, but it sets up the next movie. And man, am I excited to see where they're going with that.
That will be interesting. I admit, I didn't think of it, but Murphy's back. Cillian Murphy's back with the kid or a kid.
With a kid, but
That's
it kind of
his
implies that
daughter,
it's
maybe.
his daughter from now I'm forgetting the character's name in the first one, but it kind of implies that perhaps the mother's around too, or at least he was able to raise a daughter in this world. And he's got a rifle. Most people in this world don't have guns. So it's interesting. There's got to be a story there somewhere. So I
I
definitely I'm on board, man.
I might.
I think Nia DaCosta just got the short end of the stick with the whole Marvels thing, where I mean we've been over this countless times, but they kept making her cut it shorter and shorter and shorter. I think there was 3 rounds where each time it was almost at least 20 minutes that she had to take out, and then at the end she wanted to take her name off of it, and they would not let her. So it's sad, but this really showcases what she can do, and I wonder what that movie could have been because there's a bunch of different traces of arcs for characters that they just kind of drop off. I think showing this, she can do multiple arcs for multiple characters and can have so much payoff. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Nia DaCosta does next. I'm excited to see the next in this 28 years later trilogy.
And what's fascinating in all of that, um, that runtime of that movie is around the same as the Marvels, but the quality is just there while the Marvels wasn't quite there. But again, I after I left the room for 28 years later last year, I was like, I enjoyed the movie. That was a fun movie. That's probably in my top 20 horror flicks of last year, and that's telling a lot because I think I've seen like 50 or 60 horror flick. And you know how I grade stuff. So if it's in the top 20, that means a lot. but I after leaving Bone Temple, I got hyped. I'm excited about what happens next, and it's rare I am so excited about a horror flick. Again, empathy rules, and I can't believe I forgot to mention that. So, um, I will give this movie a well-deserved 10 out of 10 because I think it's a masterpiece and people should go see it. What would be your grade out of 10, Gray?
Um, I think I have it as a 4 out of 5 on Letterbox. So what's that? 8 out of 10. Um, I wish I could go quarters up there because I would totally give it 4 and a quarter. I'm thinking of bumping this up to 4.5. I need to give it another watch and then I'll see. But man, this is on the top of my list so far. Again, I've only seen 7 so far this year, but yeah, this is a high bar to surpass. The original, the one from last year, 28 years later, that made it to number 18 on my list. I like this one more. So I'm assuming this is going to be around the top of my list for quite a while.
I will also say this. I think I'm with you on that. As of right now, it's second. I like Dog 51 more. It's more
Hmm.
my cup of tea, but I'd say they are very close. Where actually, Dog is really my favorite movie among all, but 28 years later is not that far behind. It's a great movie. The Bone Temple is something else. And I think Nia DaCosta really earned her name there. And I think she should be on more project where she is given the freedom she got with the Bone Temple. I think she can do gold, really. I think she can. Do you want to add anything else?
No, I think that's it. Just experience it for yourself. And if you have already, good for you.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for joining me. What do you have going on your end of the internet?
Yeah. Lately I've been doing a lot of work on YouTube at The Last Panel One. It's a group of us that get together. For instance, a little bit later today, in like 4 hours, we're doing the Tim Burton rankings. But I think last week we did Kevin Smith rankings. We did like Batman rankings. So come on every Friday. We usually do something interesting in kind of the movie realm, and then every Tuesday. I have a different show. It is also on that same channel, but it's TGIT. Thank God it's Tuesday, and we do kind of the same thing, but we're talking about comedy. So in this next on Tuesday, we'll be talking about our favorite comedians who are acting in movies. So like they're our favorite performance from a comedian in a movie. That would be the more succinct way of saying it. So if that sounds interesting to you, come on over. It's YouTube at The Last Panel One. That's about all I got going on. What about you, Multi? What do you have going on, sir?
Well, tomorrow with the Dragon, we will be talking about Fallout, the TV show season 2, episode 4, 5, and 6, because we review by block. As of right now, I haven't seen episode 6. I will see it later today, but Fallout Season 2 is somewhat of a drop off from Season 1, but it's still enjoyable. It's something that's I look forward to watch every week. Um, and outside of that, well, next week, Mercy and Dog 51 are reviewed because these are two movies that are thriller, that are sci-fi, and one of the two I can tell already is a possible future that's really bleak. The other one, I don't know Mercy. I haven't seen it yet. I will see Mercy tomorrow. But I know Dog 51 shows a bleak picture of what the future can be. And I'm very hyped about talking about that movie because that movie is my favorite movie among all as of right now. Um, with that being said, tomorrow there's also politics on the channel because I enjoy talking about politics with Dragon, and that's on Saturdays, kind of late night. And I open the invitation to you if you're available tomorrow, Gray. That will be late night. And yeah, outside of that, well, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, I think I am by the end of the game, so a few streams left. I don't know how many yet because I will try, and I say try to 100% the game. And I say try because it's a blind playthrough, so I don't really cheat to see where to collect items. And I feel like I'm near the end, and I'm only at 71 percent. So
Metroid ones
yeah,
are tricky, man. There's so many secrets and stuff.
yeah. So that's the plan. Lots of movies review, politics, and TV shows review. And I think we started off 2026 with amazing movies. I'm not the biggest fan of Primate, but it's better than a lot of the movies we had last year. Anyhow, with this, we are out. Thank you very much, Gray, and we will talk backstage a little bit. See you soon, and have a great weekend, everyone.